All right, let's get one thing straight. If you think you're going to master Japanese just by chatting, you're already failing. Today, we're going to break down exactly why your strategy is a complete mess, and I'm going to give you the only one that actually works, so you better listen up.
So, here's the heart of the issue. A native speaker put it perfectly. Japanese is a language where simply calling out to someone is extremely difficult. Think about that. Every single time you try to get someone's attention, you're not just talking, you're walking through a minefield. And right now, you can't even see where the mines are.
And oh my, you are failing at it. Badly. You think that if you just memorize enough words, you'll be fine. Let me tell you right now, you won't. Your whole approach is wrong, right from the very beginning.
Okay, let's get into your first major mistake. I call it the address term trap. See, you've been learning words from your textbook, from your apps, and you actually believe they work in the real world. It's time to completely dismantle that little fantasy.
Just look at this list. You see Oji-san and Oba-san, right? Your textbook told you they mean uncle and aunt, or are polite terms for middle-aged people. Sure, on paper that's correct. But in real life, good luck. You're more likely to offend someone than make a friend. So you think, okay, I'll be extra polite, and you pull out Oba-sama. Now you just sound ridiculous, like you're in some old samurai movie. Or you try maidamu at the checkout counter, and it's just awkward. Everyone's confused. Get this through your head. These words are not your friends. They're traps, plain and simple.
All right, enough theory. Let's look at some real-world combat footage. I'm going to show you some case studies, actual examples of how your good intentions and your correct vocabulary lead to, well, catastrophic failure.
First up, case study number 1. Oh, this is a classic. Using wani-san, which means older sister, to be polite. I see this one all the time. It's predictable and it's completely wrong. So here's the situation. You're talking to a woman who's, let's say, in her 70s. And what word do you choose to call her? Older sister. You thought you were being charming, didn't you? Flattering even. Nope. You were just wrong. The gap between what you said and who she is was massive.
And the result? Total awkwardness. A complete breakdown in communication. You wanted to build a connection, but all you built was a wall of cringe. Your attempt didn't just fail to work, it actively made things worse. Mission failed.
So you think, okay, that was just a one-time mistake. Wrong. This is a pattern. Let's look at case study number 2. This time, the weapon of choice is okasan, or mother. The context: you're talking to a Japanese woman who doesn't have any children. You were trying to be friendly, right? Create a warm, familiar vibe, but you based your word choice on an assumption, and that was your second tactical error.
So what happened? Not connection. Confusion. She's thinking, me? Mother? See, your attempt to get closer just created more distance. And listen to me, your intentions don't matter. The result is all that counts. And the result, once again, was failure.
Okay, so by now you should be getting it. Your vocabulary is failing you. But the problem goes so much deeper than that. The entire system you think you're working with, it's not even there. You're basically talking into a void.
Think about it. In English, you've got sir or madam. In French, monsieur, madame. They're like these safe, all-purpose tools you can pull out anytime. But in Japanese, that part of the toolbox is just empty. There is no safe default word you're looking for. It doesn't exist. In fact, most native speakers will do everything they can to avoid calling someone out directly.
And I know what you're thinking. Fine, I'll just say you. Guess what? That's another trap. Anata can sound cold, distant, or like you're talking down to someone. Kimi is what you'd use for a subordinate, or maybe in a love song. And omae, yeah, the word I'm using for you, is super informal and can even sound aggressive. The bottom line is, there is no safe, neutral way to just say you. So let's recap the situation on the ground. You can't really call people by a generic term. You can't really use pronouns like I or you. So the subject of the sentence, the person doing the thing, and the object, the person having the thing done to them, poof, they're just gone. Which leads to the obvious question, right? How is communication even possible? If you can't say who is doing what to whom, how does anyone understand anything? Honestly, this is where most people get frustrated and quit. But you're not going to quit, because you're going to learn the system.
It's time for a major mindset shift. I want you to stop thinking of grammar as this boring thing you have to memorize for a test. It's not your enemy.
From this moment on, you need to understand grammar is your only weapon. It's the only tool you have to decode this entire system.
So here's your new strategy, your plan of attack. It's 3 simple steps, and they are non-negotiable. 1. Analyze the particles. 2. Analyze the verb forms. 3. Use that information to figure out the missing subject. That's it. This is your new standard operating procedure. Burn it into your brain.
Let's look at your first weapon, verb forms. Pay attention. Doa ga aita, the door opened. The verb form here, the intransitive one, tells us it just happened. Nobody did it. But then you hear doa o akita. The door was opened. The verb changed, and even though nobody said I or he or she, that verb form tells you someone did it. An agent was involved. This is how grammar lets you see what isn't there.
Next up, your second weapon, particles. Watch this. Someone says, Kyoto o annai sareta yo. That little particle o paired with that verb form, it tells you the invisible subject is me, so the meaning is I was shown around Kyoto. Now what if they said, Kyoto ni annai sareru yo? The particle changed to ni, and just like that, the invisible subject is now you. You will be shown around Kyoto. See that? One tiny particle flipped the whole meaning of the sentence.
Okay, let's get into some advanced tactics now. These 2 sentences sound almost the same. Shuseki sareta. That verb ending is a respectful, honorific form. It tells you the subject is someone important, someone with high status. But then you hear shuseki sasarareta. That's the causative passive form. The subject is I, the speaker, and I was forced to attend. If you're not paying attention to the grammar, you could think a respected boss attended, when really the speaker is complaining about being dragged to a meeting. That's not a small mistake. That is a critical intelligence failure.
So this is the whole philosophy in a nutshell. It's called sasuru temnu gijitsu, which basically means the technology for sensing the context. In Japanese, you don't state things directly. Instead, you use the shape of the words, the verb endings, the particles, to hint at what's missing. Grammar isn't about passing a test. It's the technology you use to figure out what's really being said.
We've analyzed the problem, we've identified your failures, and we've laid out the only strategy that works. Now, here is your final command. I want you to burn this into your mind. Grammar isn't the enemy. It's not some hurdle you have to get over. It is the device. It's the very system that makes real communication in Japanese possible. Trying to speak without it is like showing up to a gunfight with a knife. So stop running from it. Start training with it. That's all.